Today I need to make some repairs on the chicken coop. That's what we're doing today, right here on the ranch. So today I have this pull out that's in the chicken coop, and it separates the bottom of this coop from the top of the coop. And the problem I'm having with this pull out is that there's a metal bottom to it, and that is rusting away. I'm gonna pull this out. I'm gonna see just how bad it is, and then I'm gonna cut away all the metal. Then we'll replace it with plywood and insert that back in, and we should be as good as new. Come on. Down. Time for some gloves. So I don't know if you can see from the camera, but there are some massive holes in this. So this is just a very thin piece of metal that whoever made this coop attached it in here to ensure that the chickens can walk on it. Problem is that when they poop on it and moisture over time gets on it, it starts to rust this out. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna remove this sheet metal. I'm gonna go back in with 3/8 plywood, attach it to this, and one, it should be a lot stronger, and two, I don't think we'll have this rusting problem anymore. Yeah, the plywood could rot, but from the look of this metal, I think that plywood's gonna be a lot stronger and it's gonna last a lot longer. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get my wire cutters, and a lot of this don't even need wire cutters, but I'm gonna remove all this old metal, clean this up, and then I'll go back and be ready for the plywood. So the one issue that I'm having here, and then of course when you buy things that are pre-made, is they're not built well. And that's the story with this. This is not the sturdiest construction. However, this is what I have. So as I was trying to tear this metal, it was really trying to tear up this frame. That's gonna make this project a lot more complicated than it needs to be. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna clean up some of these edges. I'll go back with my 3/8 plywood over it, and we should be good. And that should suffice. I want to make sure that this metal is clean so that plywood will sit flat on top of it. One thing I'm gonna do when I make my cut is I'm gonna cut just off the line to account for the blade. So once I do that, it should be perfect size, and then if I have to trim it up any, I'll do it, but it should fit in there perfectly. We'll screw that in and we'll get that installed. Always make sure your sawhorses are pushed back before you saw. A good way to ruin a sawhorse. Okay, so I had to trim it up a little bit to get it in. I had it a little too tight, but yeah, that's it. So I'm gonna go ahead and screw this in real quick and get it all fastened up, and then we'll install it in the chicken coop and see how it does. Chicken should have a nice sturdy place to walk on the upper level of the coop. So I'm glad I did this. This is a lot sturdier than that little metal was. You can see the back, that's that old metal, and then the wood here. So it's locked in pretty good now. That's gonna work a lot better than what we had before. I should have done this a long time ago. Well, the true test will be, will it fit back in here? We're about to find out. Yeah, this is a lot better. This is gonna allow the chickens to have something very stable to walk on, and I'm not gonna have to worry about them falling through, which is horrible to even think about. Now we'll go back and put shavings on top of that, and we'll be back in business in the coop. So the next thing I want to do is install some more latches on the doors of the coop. We have a couple of different latches that keep things from coming into our coop. The first thing is just the latches that this came with, and I need to tighten some of these. These just close, and then I have some carabiners that I hook onto the latch to ensure that the door cannot come open. Also, this little hook here, which is just another measure of support, just to ensure that something can't grab this thing and pull it out. And lastly, I have this stopper here, and essentially what this does is keeps everything nice, tight, and closed. It ensures that this door closes nice and flat and leaves no edges that something can grab onto this. So what I want to do, and I'm going to show you another door on this coop. I'm going to install one of these, and then also I'm going to install some stoppers on the back of the doors. One thing you got to keep in mind is that you got to keep predators from opening the door and or pushing in the door. And so one of the things that I do is I like to put stoppers on the inside of the door, so this prevents the door being shoved open. So this setup here ensures that the door cannot be opened, and that's what all these things do, as well as this. And then my inside stoppers ensure that the door can't be shoved in and they can access the chickens that way. So a lot of different things you have to do to keep the chickens safe. This is just another one of those things that every so often I like to check. I like to make sure that everything is secure, and it's always nice just to go through, update the security of the coop to ensure that these girls stay safe. This is a door I don't check a lot. I just want to double check and make sure that all the screws on the hinges are tight. Sure enough, that lock on that hinge, they were very loose, so I'm glad I got that tightened up. So as you can see right here, I don't know if you can see it on camera, but this door is actually coming in. The stopper on the back side of that door is broken. I could push that in pretty easily. And I think if a big dog or something were to really want to get into these chickens, I think he could get in there. So one of the things I'm going to do here in a second is I'm going to put a stopper on the other side of this coop to ensure that this door is not able to be pushed in. And I think that'll help secure that door. One of the things that I cut out of this plywood are these just little blocks. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these on the back side of this door, and that way it's going to stop this door from being caved in. I'm always trying to think like a predator. If I was trying to get in this coop, what could I do? And that's one thing that came to mind, was not just focus on something pulling the door out, but actually something that's probably a lot more likely is pushing this door in. So we have the water next to it, which also gives us some security, but I could definitely see that this top part could be pushed in and then something could get right over the top of it. It does not take much space at all for a predator to be able to get in. If he or she can get his head in, they're in and they're getting your chickens. So I just want to make sure that I'm doing everything that I can to secure these girls. We've had 2 attacks on this coop, and both times it was a failed attempt. One was a bobcat and one was a fox. So I know with all the woods around us that they are definitely here, and it's a matter of time before it happens again. So I'm taking a proactive approach to ensure that when it does happen, we're ready for them. What I'm going to do is I'm going to set 2 of these stoppers up here so that door will close against it here. This is going to stop this door from being able to go any further and ensures that nothing can get in the coop. So as you can see now, I have these 2 stompers, so when this door closes, it's hitting those 2 stompers and ensures this door cannot go any further back, protecting the chickens. So another thing that I'm going to do is I want to make a latch, just like we have on the other door, that turns and latches these 2 doors together and keeps them nice and tight. So something can't grab its claws, pull on that door, and pull that door out. So I'm going to make that real quick. We'll screw it into this side right here, and then that way when we turn it, it'll go over this door, closing both doors and making sure that they're nice and secure. A little too tight. There we go there. Now we have our door even more secure than it was before. Not the prettiest thing in the world, but it'll keep your chickens alive. You know, every day I come out here and check the chickens and just watch them, but one thing is evident. Not only check your chickens, but you have to check your coop. You have to check for signs of predators. A lot of times you'll see scratch marks. Sometimes they'll even peel back your wire. They'll try to break in doors. And a lot of times they won't be successful on their first try. However, if you don't notice it, then the problem will persist. The predator will absolutely come back and eventually they will get in. So it is important, and you're doing your chickens a favor, to ensure that you are checking your coop every day for signs of predators, and if you see them, do things to ensure that they can't come in. Also, look at your coop and think like a predator. If I was wanting to get to those chickens, what would I do to get to them? And then fix those areas, and I guarantee you, you'll have a lot better success in holding on to your chickens. So we have 6 chickens here. The only loss we've had is to heat. That's been our biggest predator, but I've not lost them to another animal yet, and I'm working hard to ensure that that never happens. Well, I think I'm gonna call it a day. Thank y'all for hanging out with me, and we'll see you again next time right here on the ranch.